Good morning everybody. To start with today's class, I think we have to have a brushing as to what was done in the previous content. In the previous understanding of the concept, we were able to understand what a bank was, what are its features, and we were so clear within ourselves that bank was a financial institution which helps in performing the two basic functions, that is acceptance of deposits and lending of the loans, whoever in need of it and for the purpose for which it was needed. And one of the features of the bank was very specific and very clear, telling us bank is also acting as a link between the banker and the customer. Bank is something which deals with money, which acts as an individual, which will also perform the activity of acceptance of deposits, giving of advances, payments and withdrawals, agency and utility services, a connecting link, and it has its name always with the word bank. So understanding this concept as to what a bank is and what are the features of a bank, we will continue today's class with understanding the role of a bank. It's very clear to us that in today's economy and in today's business world, you cannot have your individual existence without a bank, because bank is something which performs the various other activities also, and that it makes itself its important role. The role of a bank is something immense in a sense. You have no words to say what the role a bank plays in every person's life as well as in our business world, because our world of business which runs on money, and money is something which cannot be given by an individual himself. So as being an individual, you cannot say, I run my business myself. You require crores of rupees, and this investment cannot be a one-man show. It requires an investment by other resources, and the other resources from which we take the money as an investment and as a support is with our financial institution, the bank. So now let's understand what is the role of a bank. The role of a bank is very important. It is something which helps in mobilizing the savings by giving an attracting rate of interest to the person who are interested to save their earnings. Every person earns money. Whatever the money he earns, it is for his general utility. And further, he always has an intention to keep himself safe for a future. His future to be safe, he thinks, let me save some money what I have earned. And that savings, what he does, and that savings, where to keep. He has so many questions in his mind. How safe is my money? Where should I keep the money? And all these questions will be answered with the support of our bank, the financial institution, which says, don't worry. You people are not in one place. You people are in around every place, and you have the place to keep safe, and that place where you can keep safe is a bank. What does the word mean, mobilizing of savings? Mobilizing of savings means bank is an institution which takes the money not of one place, but it takes the money which has been scattered around in different places, because individuals will not stay in one place. Individuals will stay in place A, place B, place C, place D, or whatever it is. Different places the individuals stay, and those different places from where you people are staying, you have to take money from you people. So the first importance of or the role of a bank is it helps in mobilizing the savings of those people who are scattered in a sense, not in one particular place, but they stay around in different places. So wherever you stay, that is not a matter, but bank will be there in every place where you stay to take your money, to keep safe custody of your money. And thus bank will mobilize the small scattered idle savings of the people and make them available for productive purposes. Productive purposes in a sense, it gives us financial support to those financial needed people to have their own individual entrepreneurship. That means you want to start your own industry, you want to continue with your industry, you want to start a small scale industry, whatever is your ideas that has been generated to you, it requires money, and that money cannot be put by yourself alone, and that money can be taken from a support, and that support is lended by a bank which says, I have money of various people who have intention to save because I give them a very high rate of interest. I give them safety of their deposits and I give payments to them whenever they are in need of it, not just like that, by giving an interest to money deposited to me. And this makes me the flow of fund. The flow of fund, in a sense, the scattered people's savings will be utilized for the purpose of productivity of an industry, productivity of an economy. And this formation, that is the savings of the people being utilized as a flow of fund for an industry, is what is called as capital formation. And the capital formation for an industry, mobilizing of the savings, is what is very important for a role of a bank, because bank is playing a very major role. No other no other person in the economy does this activity of taking the savings of various people and using as a flow of fund for an industry, for a person who wants to have an industry, for a person who wants to form a capital. And thus bank has a major role, a very important role in mobilizing the savings. And this is not done just like that. This is done by giving the interest on the savings of the people, whoever will deposit money to the bank. This is promoting an habit of savings. See, nobody will come to a bank just because they have money with them. Some purpose must be served to the person who thinks, I give the money to a bank. And this is possible only when the bank gives them a very attractive rate of interest. When I think I have a money with me lying without any use, I get a interest, I get a return for this money which I have it, then people will think, let me go somewhere, let me give it to some person. And this is what the bank does. So what the bank says is, I not only mobilize savings, I not only make you people save in an institution, but I also create in you an interest that you save more money. How is this possible? How is that it is happening within you people is, bank is playing a major role of offering attractive rate of interest on whatever the deposits the banks are going to accept. So as an individual, you can just give rupees 500 to the bank. It never says no, I want only thousands, I want 3,000, I want 5,000, I want 10. It never says that. It always says whatever you have with you, you give it to me. I keep it safely for you, but not for free purpose, but I am going to give you a very high rate of returns to it in form of interest. And this interest what the bank is offering to the people will create an interest of them to save more. Thus, as a role of a bank, they promote the habit of savings among the people. And further, bank is something which is also performing activity of accepting the savings of the people. So it says, I not only give you interest high, but I also accept the savings where I keep your money safe and secured. No thief will come, rob the money from a bank. If something happens like called as bank robbery or whatever it is, but your money is safe. It is given back by the banker because it is a responsibility of the bank to keep your money safe and secured. So in this manner, when the bank is able to perform the duty of safety of your money, then what the role the bank plays is creating of more money. You people will be happy to know that when you have money which is in a safe hands, you have money which is giving you returns for that money, then you feel like keeping the money in a bank. Thus, bank has a very important role of accepting your savings providing you a safety and security and generating surplus of money of the depositors, because depositors have a psychological feeling that my money is safe. And this is what the bank plays a very important role. So bank not only mobilizes the savings, not only offers attractive interest and make them to develop an habit of savings, but it is also accepting the savings in a very secured and safe manner, which says to more of the people to save more. So more people save money, more money comes to the bank, and the surplus money of the depositors will not be kept in the bank for itself, but it will be used as a flow of fund. What does this flow of fund means? The flow of fund means giving back the money to those who are in need of it. Those who want to take the money back. That means you have deposited the money, you are in need of money today at any time of a need. Then the bank says, I will give you money at any time, at whatever the requirement you want, you can take your money back. That means a bank has a very convenient economical means of making the payments. It is also provides a very convenient economical means of transferring of funds from one place to another. For example, I have a bank account in SBI in SBI in Baswangudi, for example. Then I have to give money to my father who stays in Belagaum. What to do then? I have to give him money because he's in need of a time. He needs money. Then what I will do is I can go to my bank, or now I have in my phone itself e-banking service where I immediately transfer the fund from my account to my father's account. That means it provides a convenient economical means of transfer of fund from one place to another. And this is a very important major role of a bank, because you cannot carry the fund with you from Bangalore to Belagaum, which takes almost 8 to 10 hours of journey, and by the time it has been given to him, the need may not be existence. So when the need exists, immediately you can give the money, and this is possible only with the support of a bank which has given us a convenient, means a very easy way, and a very reasonable rate of charges has been charged by the bank for the transferring of the funds. It's not very high. The rate of charge is so less that we feel, yes, I can easily transfer instead of going all the way from Bangalore to Belagaum. So that means bank plays a very important role of providing convenient economical means of transfer of funds from one place to another. Not only this, bank also provides us with the easy mobility of fund from surplus to deficit utilities. What does it mean to say surplus to deficit? Surplus means I have got lots of money with me, but I don't know how to make investments. Deficit means I am in need of money, but I don't know where to get money. So there is a gap between the way to get money and way to invest money. When this gap was being found, it was been felt that why not I, being a financial institution, help these two people who don't know to get money and help that people who don't know to give investment of his money. So to get money, to invest money, there was a long gap which could be overcome with the help of a bank which said, I will contribute to you to know where to get money, to know where to invest money. And this was done by the bank. So bank mobilizes the funds from the surplus and helps in deficit utilities. That means if you don't have money, then you have got a deficiency. Deficiency means I have less in money, I am in need of it. So that is called deficiency, contributing to the economy. And this left to the development of our economy, because who have money, who don't have money. Who have money can be used with who don't have money. So when you have this utility done with having, without having, will have a balance in the development of the money. It will help us in equal distribution of the money in our economy. This is what the bank does. So bank is performing a very important role of mobilizing the funds from the surplus to the deficit utilities, which contributes to the economic development of all the regions of the economy. Bank bank not only influences the rate of interest in the money market. Bank is having a very important role of influence of the money market and its interest rates. It not only helps the individuals, but it also helps trade, commerce, industry, agriculture by giving them their needed financial requirements. It helps in the flow of funds into productive channels. So as I said, I have money but I don't know where to invest money. So bank will use this mobility of the surplus of deposit in the form of loans and advances by helping a person who wants to start a small scale industry. Thus, bank is acting as an intermediary in a sense. It acts as a middleman between two persons, as I said, the person who wants to save and the person who wants to invest. It is acting as an intermediary, that means working on behalf of them, so that the savers will get their good returns, the investors will get their money for making their investments. Thus, bank is acting as a very important person in directing the flow of funds into productive channels. Bank also acts as a controller in supplying of money in the influence of economic activities. It so happens that when a bank is giving investments to the investors, what happens is an investor invests the money in form of starting an industry. When he starts an industry, it so happens that he requires the resources to start. The resources what we require to start an industry is not only money which the bank gives, but also the human resource, the material resource, the technical resource, the machineries, the equipments, the tools and all other things. So industry cannot be run only by money. Industry requires all these people who come into existence. So when I give money as an investor to you to start an industry, you generate employment. You generate opportunities for the people to make their life, to start their industry. When they start their life by joining an industry, they start to earn. So once they start to earn, you are able to make your income, and that income once again becomes a savings, and that savings can be once again utilized as a part of surplus investments to an industry. So in this manner, a bank has a very important role in not only mobilizing the savings of the individuals, but also in supplying the money which influences the economic activities like employment, income, general price levels and other things. Once you are able to earn your life, once you are able to go on in your life, then it increases your national income, the per capita income, your standard of living and your employabilities, opportunities will be more. So bank is not only a mobility of savings, but not only an investors for investors, but it is something which is able to control our economy, which is able to give an influence on our economy by giving an improved national income, per capita income, standard of living to the economy. So thus bank has a very important role in our life, in our economy. So to recollect bank, I think I will be very specific to know the role of a bank. The role of a bank is it mobilizes the small scattered idle savings of the people. Very important role is it offers interest to the people who wants to save money by promoting the habit of savings among the people. It is also very important because it promotes convenient economical means of payment, provides safety, security to the surplus of money of the depositors. It mobilizes a fund from surplus deficit utilities, contributing to the economic development of backward regions. It also influences the rate of interest in the money market. It helps our industry, trade, commerce, agriculture by meeting their financial requirements. It also helps in directing the flow of funds into productive channels. It acts as an intermediary in the flow of funds from savers to investors. It also controls the supply of money in a country influences the economic activities, employment, income, general price levels and other things. It also increases the national income, per capita income, standard of living, employment and income. Thus, I think I'm very clear that a bank plays a major role. Understanding what the role of a bank is, I think we have to further understand what are the different types of banks that have come into existence. There are various banks that are in existence, as we can understand: central bank, commercial bank, regional rural bank, cooperative banks, investment banks and specialized banks. Let's understand every bank, what they are and what do you understand by each type of a bank. To start with, every bank we really don't understand what the banks are. We just go to a bank, we come back from a bank, we will not be able to know to which category these banks belong to. The bank basically performs the commercial banking functions. That means to say, what is a commercial banking function? Commercial banking function is a function which provides the financial services to the businessman. Every bank does. Every bank does a support to a businessman. So that is why I said whichever the bank we have come across, we would have seen SBI, we would have seen HDFC Bank, we would have seen ICICI Bank, S Bank, Kotak Bank, many banks. Just as a passerby when you are walking on a road or just in and around your place, when you move around, you see Canara Bank, Vijaya Bank, State Bank of India, or now being merged with all these banks. We have got only one called the State Bank of India. So like this, we see large number of banks in and around. What is all these banks, which type they belong to? We'll always have this doubt in our mind. So in theoretical aspect, you have to know to which category each bank belongs to. So let me make you understand the types which we have. The first type of a bank that we have is called the commercial bank. Commercial bank is a bank which provides a financial services to the businessman. So they have no intentions of mobility of savings among the people. They don't want to create savings among people. They have an interest of accepting deposit. It doesn't mean the commercial bank doesn't accept deposit. They will accept deposit, but the major role what they play here is to provide financial services to businessmen. So commercial banks are the banks which performs the major role of providing financial services to businessmen. In commercial bank, we have got three types. One is called as public sector bank. Another one under it is private sector bank. Another one is called foreign banks. What is a public sector bank? A public sector bank is a bank which has been owned and operated by the government. Public sector, I think you can come to know, it is a bank which is owned and operated by the government. That means to say the major share of the contribution of investment in the bank would be by the government. The major of these banks, I think for example, you may know SBI, State Bank of India, which is a major public sector bank under commercial banks. Similarly, you have the second category that is called private sector bank. I think it is clear from the name itself. It is a bank which is owned and operated by private institutes. What does it mean to say? It has been owned and operated by the private institutes. They are free to operate, but they are controlled by the market forces. They are free to operate, but they are controlled by the market forces. That is a demand and supply. As demand, the supply will be there. So that is what is called as they are controlled by the market forces with a greater share held by the private players, not the government. That means the investors in the private bank is more than the contribution of the government. In public sector, government contribution is more. In private sector, private contribution is more. But they are also controlled by Reserve Bank of India. It doesn't mean that it's a private bank, it can run as it wants, it can stay as it wants. It is not there. It is also been regularized by the Reserve Bank of India. Only thing is their investment contribution in private sector banks is more by private players rather than government. In public sector bank, it is more by the government rather than private players. So very good example for public sector, as I said, is State Bank of India. In private sector, you may have very good examples as I have been showing you, that is Kotak Mahindra Bank, Global Trust Bank, Yes Bank, or whatever the bank you would have seen in your areas. It can also be taken as private sector bank. And you have one more bank called as foreign bank. What is a foreign bank then? These banks are that which are based in a foreign country. These banks do not have their head office or an origin in our country, but they are based in foreign countries. But they will have their several branches in our country. That is what is called as a foreign bank. So these are the banks that are based in foreign country but have several branches being established in our country. A very good example which I find like telling you at this stage is Citibank, which you people would have heard also. So what I mean to say, when you go with the types of banks, we are with the only first category of bank, that is called commercial bank. Commercial bank means which provides service to the businessman, and these banks are further divided into public sector bank, private sector bank and foreign banks. Now let's go further. You have another category of a bank which we always see in our rural areas, that is called the Grameen banks, regional rural banks. These have come into existence to provide with an intention of financial support to the agricultural regions. So they are basically found in our rural region, and very good examples I think where you can see here is Grameen banks. Grameen banks, if you go to your rural area, to a village where you are from, just see there would be a Grameen bank. For example, my own experience in my native when I moved in, I found there was a Saptagiri Grameen bank. I saw it. So similarly, whichever is a rural area, when you go in, you have a bank which provides a credit financial support for those agriculturists or to those agricultural regions. We call them as regional rural banks. Further, we have got the another category of a bank called as cooperative banks. What is this cooperative bank is? These are the banks which has been controlled, owned, managed, operated by Cooperative Societies Act. It has come into existence under Cooperative Societies Act. What does it mean to say is, there is an act which will govern these banks, their functioning and their regulations. They function as a commercial bank and provide the financial support to the farmers, to the salaried people, to the small scale industrialist. So cooperative banks are those banks which has been controlled, owned, managed, operated by cooperative societies, and they have come into existence under Cooperative Societies Act 1972. Under cooperative banks, we have got various other types. One is called primary credit societies, another one is called central cooperative banks, another one is called state cooperative banks. What is a primary credit society? Primary credit society are those cooperative banks which has been formed in a very small locality, a very local place like a small village or a small town. You have got a society come into existence. That is called primary credit cooperative societies. They don't give long-term investments because they don't have so much of money with them. Whatever they facilitate to their customers is short-term loans, and these short-term loans will be specifically for the purchase of cattle, fertilizers, pesticides, foders or whatever it is. That is called primary. So primary credit societies come into existence in a very small place, small village for short-term investments. The second one is central cooperative banks. These banks have their members belonging to the same district. That means to say it is not a small town or a small village. It goes up to the level of a district. So in a district you have a cooperative credit cooperative societies, that is called as central cooperative banks. They are further bigger in existence, and they give some functions of a commercial bank, provide loans to their members and act as a link between two of them. One is the state cooperative primary credit. That means to the cooperative societies in a village, cooperative society in a state. Two cooperative societies, in between you will have the central cooperative banks, which will act as a link in performing the commercial banking functions. That means whatever the state cooperative bank funds would be given to the primary credit cooperative societies with the help of central cooperative banks. So it is acting in between these two banks, that is primary credit society, state cooperative bank. So that is called central cooperative banks, which is at a district level. We have further called the next bank, that is state cooperative banks. These banks have their existence at the state level. They act as a watchdog. Watchdog in essence, they will look after. There should be some person to take care, right? Whoever is a primary, whatever the funds, whatever are given, whether you are taking care of it, whether you are investing in a proper manner, is it being given to the person who is in need of it? Somebody should take care of it. So to make sure the investment of funds has been done properly, you have an existence of a cooperative bank called state cooperative bank. These state cooperative banks, what does they do is, they act as a watchdog of the cooperative banking structure in the state. They lend money to central cooperative banks and primary credit societies. Furthermore, so I think you are very clear with the understanding of the commercial banks and then cooperative banks. So I'll repeat, the commercial banks are the banks which provide support to the entrepreneurs and the businessmen. They are divided into public sector bank, private sector bank, foreign banks. Then we were able to understand cooperative banks. These cooperative banks have come into existence by the Cooperative Societies Act 1972, which are located both in urban as well as rural areas. They provide finance to the farmers, salaried people and small-scale industries. These banks were further divided into primary credit societies, central cooperative banks and state cooperative banks. And now let's move further with the next bank, that is investment bank. What is an investment bank? Investment banks are those financial institutions which provide financial advisory assistance to their customers. So customers need not be individuals. The customers can be businessmen, government organizations, who are in need of fund will have to take money, and this money is been supported by the investment bank. So investment bank not only give money, not only help you to raise funds, but it will also provide technical assistance to the industries, helps them to participate and make a right type of investments. So investment banks are those banks which are concerned with providing not only money but a proper advice of investment. Further, we have got another bank which comes into existence, is called the central bank. What is a central bank? Which is our central bank then? This is a very good question that comes into existence in our mind. In our country, RBI is the central bank. It is also called as Bankers Bank. It is also called as Bankers Bank. The bank makes various monetary policies, decides the rate of interest, controls the other bank, manages the gold reserve ratios, issues the paper currency and other things. So central bank is called the Bankers Bank in any country. So in our country, RBI is our central bank, and as you know, RBI plays a very important role. It helps in controlling the regulations of various other banks. It helps in controlling the monetary policies. It helps in deciding what should be the rate of interest. It also helps in knowing how other banks are supportive to each other, what important role they play towards each other, how well they are able to understand the mobilization of the savings, how well they are able to give the funds to the needed. So thus bank will help in handling the reserves. What is the gold reserves that is required for the purpose of issuing paper currency to our country. So the central bank plays a very important role. The next very important type of bank is called as the specialized bank. What is a specialized bank? Specialized banks are those banks which provide unique services to their service. Unique in a sense, a specific service to the customer. When you have a bank giving only certain specific services to the customer, we call it as a specialized bank. For example, I have money with me where I have to use this money and go abroad. So where will I go and change the money of the money which I have to use in foreign countries? For example, I'm having Indian currency, but I'm going to US where I cannot use Indian currency, but the currency what I have to use is the dollars. So how will I do? What will I do? Then I can go to one of the banks which tells me to exchange this money. And this exchange of money will be done as a unique service towards its customers. And such unique services that has been given by a bank towards the customer is what is called as specialized banks. And very good example for this to understand is foreign exchange banks. And further, the banks which provide only specialized financing facilities to foreign trade, for import-export procedure, for collecting export bills or collecting of credit to the importers or selling of foreign currency, information about export and import, facilities of remittance of money from one country to another, whatever it is relating to one country to another country. That is called as a special service, a unique service. And this unique service, when it has been done by some specific person, we will call it as a specialized bank. So specialized banks are not concerned with mobility of resources. They are not concerned with mobility of savings. They are not concerned with only giving of loans and advances. But they do one particular work. And this one particular work, what the bank is doing here is supporting of foreign exchange, supporting of foreign trade, supporting of remittance of bills of the exporters, supporting of giving information to the exporters and importers. So it is done only with the concern of foreign trade. So that means the first type of specialized bank is exchange bank. So an exchange bank is a specialized financing unit which provides financial facilities to foreign trade. It also helps in purchasing and discounting of export-import bills. It collects the export bills for exchange for and behalf of exporters, accept bills of exchange of credit to the importers, enable importers to import goods on credit, purchase and sell of foreign currencies, give trade information to exporters and importers. So this is one type of specialized banks. Further, we have another type of specialized bank which is called as developing banks. What is a developing bank then? A developing bank is a bank which is not only concerned with foreign transactions or import-export procedure, but it is concerned with an intention of providing financial assistance, not only short or medium term but also long-term credit to those industrialists who wants to start up an unit. So that means it helps in development. Development in a sense, you generate an idea, you want to develop that idea in form of a project, in form of a industry. To manage your industry, to manage an opportunity of developing of your investment, you are in need of a support, and this is given by developing banks. So developing banks are the multi-purpose institutions which not only provide the long-term credit to an industry, they also help you to discover an opportunity, to discover an idea, to generate an idea, to make an investment in your project, undertake the preparation of your project report, provide technical advices to them, help them in managerial decisions, give them services regarding management decisions, assist them in an industry completely from the day you have generated to the end of your industrial development. So that means the key service the bank is intended here is to develop your idea in form of an industry. So you have the first type, the exchange bank, which is concerned with exchange of foreign currency, payment of bill of exporters, importers, remittance and other things. Developing bank is a bank which is a multi-purpose institution which is concerned with giving of the investments for the long-term development, for the development of an industry. And further, we have the next type called export bank. This is a bank which provides finance on various kinds of projects and traders who have to import and export the goods and services. I think I'm very clear with what are the different types of banks. So the various types of banks that have been come into existence are: the first type of a bank that comes into existence is commercial banks, which is being further divided into public sector bank, private sector bank and foreign banks. The second category is regional rural banks, which are in our villages. The next category is cooperative banks, which has been owned, controlled, operated by Cooperative Societies Act 1972, and they are further divided into primary credit societies, which are in villages and towns, central cooperative banks, which are found in districts, state cooperative banks, which are found in all states of the country, acting as a mediator and controller of the central cooperative banks and primary credit societies. We have further the other type of bank called the investment banks, which are concerned with investments. Specialized banks are those banks which gives unique services to their customers, and those based unique services what they give, we have the exchange bank, developing banks and export banks. I think this is sufficient enough to understand how a bank plays a very important role in our economy and what are the different types of banks which we see in and around ourselves when we are moving around. So we are very clear to know what are the different types of banks. In my further thing, whatever it is, you will be able to understand more by answering the multiple choice questions which will be shown in the next PPT. Thank you.